Hello, my name is Doug Peckinpah, Director of Content Strategy at BNP Media and leader of the Prepared Foods editorial team. Welcome to another installment of Prepared Foods Solutions TV. Today I'm excited to have Zach Fuchs with me, International Business Development Manager at Butterbuds Food Ingredients, as we talk about the strategic intersection of nutrition and indulgence. Welcome to the show, Zach. Butterbuds is known for its dairy and non-dairy concentrates, which can boost a product's flavor impression, adding richness, full-bodied mouthfeel, textural improvements. Zach, during Natural Products Expo this year, Butterbuds offered a nice range of prototypes showcasing the benefits of Butterbuds dairy-based and non-dairy ingredients. Can you talk a little bit about those samples and the qualities the ingredients contributed to the formulations?
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for your time and inviting me to this taping today. This Expo West show is turning into a quite big show for us. We wanted to take a curated approach with each of our customers that came to our booth to really showcase what Butterbuds provides. Butterbuds is a unique ingredient in the market, providing mouthfeel, masking, synergizing, giving you natural dairy qualities in a variety of different applications. So, with the demos that we did have at Expo West, what we did is we had the customers come to our booth. And what we really wanted to do is figure out what they were working on or possibly the market segment that they were in. And then we showed them a demo that was specific to the projects that they were working on. So we had different items. We did a chia seed cookie demo. We did a pecan bite. We even did a savory nutrition bar. Savory products seem to be quite popular right now in the market, and really tried to focus on these key benefits that Butterbuds provides to these specific customers. So people really like the fact that we would have a blanket control with the test that we were showing. When you go to a lot of shows, they tend to have only one item that's showcasing their product. With Butterbuds, it's more of a complementing ingredient versus one that's the standout ingredient in a formulation. It's very important in a formulation, but it's not the, like, let's say a spice where it's really an ingredient that's going to catch your eye right off the bat. So when you have that blank or control and then the test variation using the Butterbuds, you can really distinguish what the Butterbuds is providing in your formulation, which a lot of our customers liked.
So that impression is so important, those subtleties. And when we look at innovations related to better for you, nutrient fortified and functional foods that are enjoyable to eat, they continue to present new opportunities for retail sales growth. That intersection of nutrition and enjoyment is so key. And better for you isn't limited to common fortification vehicles like bars and beverage these days. More dietary staples, everyday foods, are getting the better for you treatment. And not only do people want regular foods with stronger nutritional positioning, they want a clean and simplified label. If you look at protein, it continues to capture shopper attention, and this essential nutrient is increasingly paired with fiber to align with dietary recommendations for an increasing number of people taking weight management or diabetes medication. As product developers work to balance some of the organoleptic challenges of incorporating nutrition forward ingredients like protein and fiber, they often need to boost appeal, as you mentioned, to improve the eating experience, encouraging repeat product purchase. Zach, how can these dairy and non-dairy concentrates help improve the eating quality of products, say like everyday foods like mac and cheese, soup, bread, or even cookies fortified with protein and fiber?
So these health focused foods are quite a big trend in the United States, and is something as a company we're really focusing on. And when we look at consumers, what they're always going to do with these health focused foods is they're going to compare the new healthier version against the original version. And what we find is taste is the number one influencer as far as repeat purchases. And if the new healthier food product deviates too much in taste or quality, they're less likely to repurchase it. So this creates a challenge for developers to create not only a healthy food product, but one that is indulgent for the consumer. Consumers want to eat their indulgent foods on a daily basis and not have it as part of, let's say, a cheat day where they only eat that indulgent food product once a week. So Butterbuds can help in these health focused food products The biggest benefit that we're going to provide is masking of different off notes. When you start looking at these healthy ingredients or healthy concepts that developers are coming up with, a lot of these healthy ingredients provide bitter or maybe some type of unwanted off note in the application. And butter buds can really help mask those different off notes. We really help in the middle to end of the tasting experience when we're looking at these off notes. There's a variety of different ingredients out there that can mask the first, let's say, third of the tasting experience. But those lingering off notes, let's take DHA or omega 3s, for example, that really linger in the mouth, those can be quite hard to mask. And that's where Butterbuds provides a benefit. Our products use real dairy as a base material that goes through a proprietary concentration process, which is going to linger longer in your mouth, covering up a lot of these hard to cover off notes. Not only do we mask off notes, but we also help provide rich fatty mouthfeel to an application. When we think about healthier food products, they may be lower in fat, or you're adding an ingredient that maybe increases fiber, which is going to give you some grittiness, some chalkiness. With the lower fat, you just don't have the same rich fatty mouthfeel. And with our products, we add very minimal fat to your application, but still give you a full fatty mouthfeel sensation. And we're providing both of these kind of masking and mouthfeel enhancement benefits while also providing a natural dairy taste as well to your application. One of the things that I always mention to formulators, whether that's in the health food space or maybe we're looking at cost savings, is Butterbuds allows formulators to look at a variety of different ingredients, kind of opens up that basket of ingredients that they can use that typically would not be suitable for an application, but still gives you an excellent quality in the end.
Yeah, that's so important, that lasting impression that people have with that last bite of food or the last sip of a beverage that they just had. I mean, it's what really sticks with them, and that's really, I think, what's going to dictate whether or not they're going to be going for the repeat purchase or not. It's so important to have that lasting flavor impression and to walk away from that experience with a positive response. You mentioned some of the ingredients that are available, and sometimes historically have not really been considered available for different foods. Nevertheless, we look at plant-based eating, and this trend continues to grow in parallel with better for you, shopper attention. Plant-based foods bring a unique set of challenges, as we've mentioned. Zach, when you look at some of these other applications, say like a vegan ice cream, how can Butterbuds ingredients help improve that experience? When you're thinking about the typical characterizing creaminess and mouthfeel of an ice cream, but without the dairy, how can we accomplish such a feat?
So this is an interesting trend. How do we create creaminess and mouthfeel in an application without the dairy? Now, dairy provides such an indulgent quality to so many food applications. When we look at dairy's functionality in an application, it provides a lot of benefit where consumers and even developers don't realize its functionality in a particular application. The example I like to use with customers is French beef-based sauces. When we look at these types of sauces, a lot of times you finish the sauce with a little bit of butter. The reason why you add this butter to a sauce like this is it provides a nice glossy finish. It helps with mouthfeel. It synergizes and enhances a lot of the savory flavors. So how do we provide creaminess and mouthfeel in vegan-based applications? I think we have to start with the science behind our dairy-based products to show how we're able to provide these benefits in a vegan application or product. So our dairy products are going to start with real dairy. That's going to give you that mouthfeel, that masking, that natural dairy qualities. So basically what we've done with our vegan items is we've deconstructed our dairy items and used plant-based materials in its place. So we've just mimicked our dairy concentrates using plant-based materials. And when you apply them to a vegan beverage, a vegan sauce, ice cream, it's still going to give you that rich mouthfeel and masking ability that people love from our dairy concentrates.
So while the plant-based product trends have captured strong attention of late, it's important to remember that most people who are buying plant-based foods are not exclusively plant-based eaters. They're often flexitarians. This is a term that we've been using for years for folks who kind of travel all over the spectrum. And they also buy dairy. So overwhelmingly, these plant-based consumers are also dairy consumers. So, Zach, how can dairy concentrates help formulators boost the impact of products but while containing real dairy, but still controlling costs? The bottom line is just so important these days as supply chain costs go up, where people are looking for opportunities to try and offset some of those increases so they can still have an attractive price point at retail. Um, how can Butterbuds help there?
So I like to say this is our bread and butter. Now, I know that might be a little cheesy to say, but we're in Wisconsin. We're a mega dairy producer in the United States. I work for a dairy company, so it just seemed fitting. Now, cost savings is the number one way we work with customers on a global scale. In my markets of Asia, this is a big topic. When we look at a lot of markets in Asia, dairy is an imported ingredient, so it's very expensive. So we help a lot of customers save cost on various dairy raw materials. We can look at cost savings in two ways. The first way is what we call direct cost savings. You simply just replace a high cost dairy commodity ingredient with a lower cost ingredient. There's various ingredients that you can use. We could do a whole nother podcast or video shoot to just talk about what ingredients to use in replace of dairy, but I'm just going to go into it in a very basic format. And when you replace the dairy commodity ingredients with a lower cost ingredient, we'll say butter with vegetable fat, and you use our dairy concentrates, you're going to get the same quality as before, but now your formulation's lower in cost. The second way we can help customers save costs is in an indirect way. Now, this is simply just using Butterbuds as an add-on ingredient to your formulation to improve the overall quality. Butterbuds is a very concentrated ingredient, so you use it at very low dosages, adding very minimal cost. You could probably take a B grade quality product that's in the market, add a little bit of Butterbuds into the formulation, and now sell it into the A grade range of products, but it's closer to a B grade formulation cost, and now you're able to make a wider margin. Or maybe your margins are large enough to where you can add a little bit of cost to your formulation, but now your product's better than those in that same range, allowing you to take up more market share. Now, we're getting to the same goal with both of these directions. You're getting a better quality product at a lower cost, and it's allowing flexibility for the developer to really control how much dairy they want in their formulation to really meet the cost parameters that they're looking to achieve. The goal in explaining both of these directions is to give developers an idea of how to use Butterbuds best in their formulations.
It's really interesting to be able to, with such a minor addition, take a ho-hum formulation and boost it to the point where that impression of a premium product really comes through. And that's something that really sticks with people. They find that, and they see it as a discovery. And I think that's a great way to really encourage that repeat purchase for sure. The attitude of our culture today kind of dictates that we have our cake, we eat it, have it be good for us, and feature ingredients that anyone can understand. I mean, we want it all. We want great nutrition, we want equally great flavor and texture, and a clean label. So that's quite a feat. But how can Butterbuds ingredients help product developers accomplish all of these collective goals?
I've touched on how Butterbuds plays multiple roles in an application. We give you that natural dairy taste, mask off notes, synergize balanced flavor systems, and also provide rich fatty mouthfeel to your application. We give formulators flexibility as to the ingredients they want to use in an application, whether that's to get certain health benefits out of the products that they're developing or to meet certain cost parameters. Now, consumers demand ingredients in their food products that taste great, they're high in quality, fit within their budget, And now they have one more requirement out of the food products that they purchase, and they're reading food labels. Consumers really want to know what ingredients are going into the foods that they eat. I've always really been around the health side of food ever since I was little. My mom was always a Whole Foods shopper. She would always buy organic ingredients. And so, yeah, I've always been around the health food side of food. But I would say health foods and health ingredients, I would say in my adult life, this is the most I've focused on what I'm eating, what kind of ingredients are going into my food, what are the macros. So I'm really reading the labels more than I ever have in my adult life. So to meet consumer demands, Butterbuds has come up with a line of what we call simple products. This is an ingredient line that functions just like our other dairy concentrates. And they're going to give you the same mouthfeel, the same richness, the same natural dairy qualities, masking, but it has a whole food ingredient declaration. There's no artificial or chemical additives to it. There's no encompassing flavor declarations. So whatever the consumer throws our way, Butterbuds is always innovating and trying to match what the consumer wants, but we're also doing it in a way where we can provide technical support, doing it with a smile and also a friendly face.
That's great. Thanks so much for sharing your insights with us today, Zach.
Thank you so much for the time today.